Hello, hello, testing, guys. Just give me a couple minutes, running late. Be back in a moment. It's Thursday, January 4th. Man, I don't know where you guys have been. Small crowd this morning after a record freaking run. Every single morning, we're just killing it with our predictions. Unbelievable. Spot on every day. Everything hitting to the penny. It's not always going to be that way, obviously, but needs to be more of you on. All right. We got to fix that problem. When I do the free preview, we get like hundreds of people watching. So, all right. What are we going to talk about? There's a lot going on this morning, man. A lot. Let's start with the macro. All right. A little bit of bad news out of ADP. Well, good news. And good news is bad news. All right. Jobs data. In fact, let me see if I can find it in here. If I can find the numbers under calendar, ADP, forecast 115, actual 164. That's huge. All right. So what that did is it caused TLT to spike down. And TLT yesterday, right, we noted this beautiful open green, red to green reversal. Look at that open green candle off of the 20 DMA. And I'm like, hey, that's bullish IWM. Not so fast. All right. TLT spiking down on this news. The 20 DMA is 97.57. We're now at 97.40. But my line in the sand is the 200 DMA. It was the line in the sand on the way up. It's going to be the line in the sand on the way down. That's at 95.60. So I'm not going to panic too much, but it does mean potentially that the markets, remember the prediction we had last week that SPY and QQQ will move to the 20 DMA, and they did it to the penny. SPY to the penny, 20 DMA, QQQ already below it. Now the QQQ is below it. the next support would be SPY at the 20 DMA. If SPY doesn't hold at the 20 DMA, which is 467.99, it's currently above that. If that doesn't hold, then you may have to move to the 50-day moving averages on some of these indices. And you can see on QQQ, that's down around 385. That's definitely a potential. And I think the ADP data out this morning increases the chances for that potential. All right. But it doesn't change my bullishness intermediate term. It doesn't change my focus on selective risk assets to choose, unless TLT, line in the sand, 95.60. All right. That's how I'm looking at things. Oh boy, let's get to this list. There's a lot to talk about. My gosh. We got to start with Mobileye. All right, let's move Mobileye to the top. And Mobileye is a stock we've covered before with Chris Tuttle many times. You can see down 32%. They had a terrible warning out. Terrible. Okay. Let me see if I have something here to show you from that. Okay. So Mobileye, they basically warned that Q1 revenue will be over 50% lower than analysts' expectations. I didn't run the exact numbers, but it's probably something like 60%, like crazy, crazy number. Now, they did say this is because inventory buildup. You can read this here, and maybe I'll read a part of it in a second, and that things will kind of normalize after Q1. However, you know how Wall Street is. They don't look very far into the future. It's all quarter by quarter. So the stock is down like 30%. Could it go down 50% or something? We're going to look at the chart. But more importantly, I saw an opportunity in Intel this morning, and we're going to talk about that now. But first, let's just look at this, all right? They're saying here, excess inventory. We've become aware of excess inventory at our customers, 6 to 7 million extra units out there. Based on our discussions, we understand that much of this excess inventory reflects decisions by tier 1 customers. Who's that? I don't think Tesla's a customer, but other EV manufacturers. I don't think Tesla uses Mobileye to build inventory in the basic ADA, I don't know, ADAS category is due to supply chain constraints. All right. Also, there was something else over here. Lower than expected production at certain OEMs. Okay, that line. Lower than expected production at certain OEMs during 2023. So one thing to think about is this going to have a negative sentiment impact from macro perspective? Will people read into this and be like, oh, right, recession's coming, could that be negative for markets? Potentially. Markets actually turned down before the ADP numbers came out. Markets did turn sharply down on this, and it could have been because Mobileye's impact on Intel's impact on QQQ, although Intel is relatively small. I think it's 200 billion. Is it 200 billion? I might be lying about that. All right. Intel, no, it's 200 billion. So Intel has an impact on QQQ. But here's where I saw the opportunity. And we'll look at the charts, but let's do some math. Intel, based on the last data I have, owns 88% of Mobileye. Okay. If they own 88% of Mobileye, all right, that is, well, I did the math. It comes out to this. What it comes down to is that for every $1.42 down move in Mobileye, $1.42, Intel should lose about 0.5% in value of its market cap. Right now, Mobileye is down 1273. All right. So if we take 1273 divided by 142, all right, and divided by 2. All right, you can figure out the math later where I did that. But so Intel should be down about 4.5% right now. Now, when I pointed this out in VIP chat this morning, the math was Intel should be down 3%. It was only down less than 2%. So now Intel's down 3.5%. It should be down 4.5%. So, there could be an opportunity here with puts at the open on Intel. Okay, at higher price stock, but actually it's not that high. If Intel was in the hundreds, it would have been more interesting. But in any case, there's a kind of an arbitrage opportunity here in pre-market. Mobileye, I don't know how low this is going to go. I don't know. Is it going to go down over 50%? Not necessarily. If this was like an EPS thing, they gave EPS guidance, and their EPS was a big number, a high number, like $8, and instead it's going to be $4, like for the year, right? The full guide for the year. Then you could do the math on that and say, yes, this stock's going to get a 50% haircut. But we're talking about a revenue guide for one quarter I don't think that necessarily translates that it should be down 50%. So look at this. The all-time low is 24.85. We are at 27. Man, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to test the all-time low on Mobileye. 24.85. Okay, I have no idea if we'll break it, but I think that's a potential target on Mobileye, 24.85. And let's just do some math on that. If that happens, if Mobileye goes down to 24.85, so that's another another $2. Oh, it's almost there. Wow, all time low is another $2. So let's say it's roughly down $15. If Mobileye is going to be down roughly $15, then you're talking about a move of over 5% down for Intel. Intel's now down 3.4%. So Mobileye and Intel, there's a possible idea for you shorting them. It's going to be tough with the big gap open. I think Intel might be the safer bet because of that arbitrage, that inefficiency that's happening in pre-market. I do believe in inefficiencies in pre-market. Okay. Wow, we're gonna order these later, but let's move on. I'm gonna move on to we got to get to Zim's gonna be a big focus today. All right, Zim and Peloton, big focuses. We're gonna talk about that. Let's just get a couple other things out of the way. Veru for me basically failed. All right, they have a ongoing conference call right now, but that really wasn't my play. All right, or maybe it's over 8 to 9 a.m. something like that. My play was a event anticipation run. It didn't work. I sold most of my shares yesterday. Got a little bit left. So sorry that one didn't work out. Maybe it's going to react great to this, conference call they just had, but I didn't listen to it, and that wasn't my play. So, great. You can go listen to it and make your own decision. But basically almost all out, just a little bit left. They'll be selling today. That's Veru. All right. There's some other stuff going on. There was some news on First Solar. They won a 150 megawatt contract. There was also an upgrade, but maybe this will make it like last on our top list today. But with the ADP news that came out and TLT spiking down, solar sector is very interest rate sensitive. So I'm not sure that this is going to be at the top of the list. Maybe number 5. Man, I miss Lilly. They had an upgrade yesterday morning. Or an analyst note. I don't know if it was an upgrade, but an analyst note that they're taking market share from Novo Nordisk, and that's why that went up. Totally missed that. I own it in my long-term IRA. Wish I owned more, but something to keep an eye on for a potential break of 628. Oh, it's basically there in pre-market. So this is when you're this close, it's going to happen. It's going to over 628.81. Maybe pullbacks may be interesting here. Maybe if it does break out to all-time highs, then that 628.81 will become support. So that'll be interesting. Maybe that'll be near the top of our list to look at. All right. So, but this is what we got to do. All right. Let me just move this up. Stick with me. Got some exciting things to talk about. So, all right. We're not going to do RX today. All right. We got to talk about Zim and Peloton. Let's do Zim first. Zim hit all of our targets. Okay. All of our targets. The final target was 1260. And I said, we're at 1294, 1296. Now, the news has not calmed down. In fact, it's accelerated in the mainstream media and FinTwit media. They're now talking finally all over the place about the freight rates increasing, exploding since the Red Sea incident. I was mostly out yesterday. I kept a little bit of lottos. At this point, looking at the news that we're getting, the news flow, and the fact that we're gapping above the 200 DMA, I think this is in play for a short squeeze with 1260 support now. Look at the RSI. The RSI is not as high as it was last time. Okay, you can see, what happened here? Right? Can you see this? Yeah. You see where it peaked over here? It peaked at, doesn't give me the number, but you can see the peak of the RSI. Oh, wait, there it is, 78.80. It peaked at 78.80 when the price was, whatever, 11.94. Now the price is higher, but the RSI is lower. I love that. RSI divergence, I guess some people call that. So there's room for this RSI to at least move to where it was before, that 78.80 level. Okay, yesterday we're at 71.75. So this can spark that short squeeze now over that 200-day moving average. You can see it 1290, 1294. So thankfully, I kept a little, but not a lot. In fact, what I did was I basically sold all of my in the money calls, even some $12 out of the money call. No, 12 were in. I sold all my in the money, and I picked up some Lotto $15 calls for next week. Not a lot. Should have picked up more. All right. So that's the story of the Zim. And Zim, let me show you the targets. Here we go. Into this gap. The top of this gap right here, 1275. We're above it now. Next target, the bottom of that gap, 1329. So I'm going to write these down. 1275, 1329. Wow. Looks like we could hit 1329 shortly after the open. And then the next target, which is going to be my last one for now, about 1550. All right. Which is the top of this congestion zone right around here. All right. 1550. Those are your targets. So Zim. This is like 3 days in a row. Zim might be our number one pick. All right, let's move it up there. All right, so Zim. Peloton. All right, let's talk about Peloton. Peloton had some news with TikTok. Now, at first, I was like real excited. You know, before I even read the news, I wanted to grab some. I did. Then I read the news, and then I'm like, not so excited. So I sold most of what I had. I grabbed them pre-market. I'll tell why I'm not so excited. All right, the news they had with Lulu is actually much more interesting to me because there were actual points of sale where revenue can increase with Peloton. Of course, the brand and all that comes into play. Lulu's a higher end customer. Peloton's an expensive thing. TikTok's like, I don't know, do even TikTok people even have the money? But this relationship with TikTok, which is even here, let me see. Okay, here it is. This relationship with TikTok is not directly about e-commerce purchases, and like it was with Peloton. It's about creating social media content. In fact, when I looked at it, there's really nothing different about what they could have done on their own, except a custom hashtag, which is like TikTok fitness. That's the difference. That's the only thing. It's like they're probably already doing social media, content on TikTok. So now instead of it appearing under Peloton Fitness, it appears under TikTok Fitness. Okay, that's good for sentiment, good for the brand, but I'm not sure that'll really translate into significant dollars. So I'm a little bit lukewarm on this Peloton play today. However, I think retail will love it. All right, they're going to lap this up. So I think this is something at the right levels, like kind of support levels will hold. Like I don't see this going below 530 or even 540. Yesterday's close, or even yesterday's close was, let's see, yesterday's close was 538. Like I don't see that going below 538. Retail is going to be like, yeah, man, TikTok, we're not going to let it go lower than yesterday, So I think there's that. But I think it's not going to like break out above, what's the 20 DMA here? 601. Well, definitely not above 650. I don't think so. All right. So I think this will be volatile and range bound. I think you can buy the supports in TikTok because of the sentiment value that retail is going to be excited about this. But fundamentally, I don't see this as strong as like the Lulu catalyst. So that's my take on it. We'll monitor that. It'll be up there in the top 5, but not in the top 2 or 3. All right. It's already 919. Wow, look at Zim. I guess I got to put Zim number 1 again. I got to do it again, like for the 3rd day in a row. The question again is do I want to chase it? Probably not. I'm going to look for every single day the last few days that this has been our top pick and it's been up sharply in pre-market. In the opening minutes, it pulled back hard. Okay. So I'm going to look at maybe trying to get in at 1260 support on Zim, maybe adding more to my position. All right. 1260 support. That's all I'll be looking to do on Zim. And then after Zim, I think my focus will be shorting Intel. All right. And Mobileye. Lily, we're looking for a breakout to all-time highs. And Peloton will be buying those dips. And I think that's going to be it. I do want to mention a couple other things, though. All right. Let's see. I want to mention Cytokinetics. I do want to mention, all right, we're going to mention NIO and SoFi, but not as exciting now with the TLT drop. All right. I just wanted to notice some relative strength in NIO and SoFi yesterday. Okay. NIO, you can see that big green candle off of the 20 DMA. So I picked up a little bit more yesterday when I saw that relative strength. And then SoFi, not really relative strength yet, but just watch this. And I'm not in it yet. 50 DMA bounce off $8. Okay. Interesting to me. If this heads towards $8, that might be interesting. All right. With lower rate expectations, SoFi should do well in that environment. Get this pullback in the market at the beginning of the year. Could be an opportunity if it gets to $8. Someone mentioned LBPH to me, but I don't know it well. This is similar to the story with CYTX. Oh, CYTK. Okay, CYTK, there are buyout rumors. All right. So this is the biotech company that had some good data. The thing like surged like a lot. And then they raised money and it's been consolidating at a higher level. And now buyout rumors are emerging ahead of JP Morgan conference yesterday. This looks like it's really trying to break out of the consolidation pattern here. 88.82. If it breaks out of 88.82, we could go several dollars higher. And also, you never know. You could get a buyout announcement sometime in the next week or so. Hold on. Oh, Lilly has news again. Lilly launches website to help patients get weight loss drugs. All right. Let's look at this news on Lilly. Oh, there it is. An hour ago. I missed that. Oh, that's why it's up $5 in pre-market. Thank you for that, Amar. So Lilly said on Thursday to launch a website that will provide patients with obesity, migraine, and diabetes access to healthcare providers. Launch of the service called Lilly Direct. Comes to the back. The company also said it promoted the company in September. Okay, awesome. That's a nice little catalyst. I like that. So Lilly's going to be in play. 628.81. So beautiful, isn't that? And the low RSI. This thing looks like it's going to break out well above that 628.81. All right. So wow, definitely in play. All right. So with that, actually, I'm going to move Lilly number 2. I don't love shorting, so I have a bias towards good news. So Zim, Lilly, then we have the short on Intel / Mobileye, and then maybe Peloton. And I got some lottos on Cytotech next week in case there's a buyout. All right. So I think maybe not as clear our show today as it's been in the last several days. Got some choppy markets, got some uncertainty about, are we going to hold the 20? Are we going to move down to the 50? I'm concerned we are going to move down to the 50. Apple, another downgrade this morning that can catalyze the move to QQQ towards the 50 DMA, although Apple probably starts getting interesting at 179.43 right there at the 200-day moving average. So something to watch. So some choppy day. It could be difficult for longs. It could make it even harder for like a stock like Peloton when the markets are down or. But anyway, so Zim long 1260 support. I gave you the targets. Lilly, you got that all-time new high that we're looking at. Intel short, Mobileye short as the number 3 idea. Peloton by the dips. All right, that's what we got. All right, Zim number 1. Let's do it. Good luck, everyone.